Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Toast 2020. This is Sharon Lazanki, and it's my honor to be the Executive Director at Boston Prep. First, a couple of logistical notes as we get started. Tonight, we'll be sharing stories and video through multiple forms. And while video conferencing is clearly pretty amazing, it is highly reliant on internet connection. So if there is a quality disruption tonight, please know that we'll share everything via email or our webpage after this event. Also, we'll be sharing relevant links throughout the evening in the chat box. Be sure to watch out for my colleague Danielle doing this. We are so grateful to be here in this moment with all of you tonight. This is certainly not the toast that we had imagined, but as tonight's themes highlight, we are Phoenix. Much like the mythological bird that rises from the ashes, challenges make us stronger. And in fact, tonight, amidst uncertainty and fear the world around, we are stronger at Boston Prep thanks to all of you. These are most certainly unprecedented and truly trying times. Many in our community, and undoubtedly some of us gathered here tonight, are facing a myriad of challenges, from health concerns to food security, job security, financial uncertainty, and distance from those that we love. But we believe that part of what enables us to get through any tough moment is community. And over the past week at Boston Prep, we have found real power in the moments when we've been able to come together as a whole school community. And we offer tonight's program in that same spirit. Tonight is about continuing to ensure that regardless of circumstance, we come together as a community to experience moments of joy that can lift us up, and to remind ourselves that while we might be physically separated from one another, we are most certainly not alone. So thank you for choosing to come together with us tonight to show our students, our teachers, our alumni, our families that their community, the broader community, stands as one. So let's get a sense for who's here in the community tonight. Please take a second and type one word into the chat box to say, are you a student? Are you a parent, a teacher, a partner? We're fortunate tonight to have hundreds of people joining us this evening, representing the many different people that make the Boston Prep community truly special. With us tonight are some of our 580 students in grades 6 through 12. Some of the many families who made the decision that Boston Prep's rigorous academics, excellent teachers, and unwavering belief in every single child is exactly what their family wanted. Some of our 328 alumni, many of whom are the first in their families to attend college. Some of our 103 faculty members, people who are innovative and relentless in their commitment to do whatever it takes under whatever circumstances to provide every child an excellent education. We're grateful to have so many community partners here with us tonight, organizations and individuals that share our vision and our commitment to children in Boston. We're grateful for our board of trustees, our foundation directors, our Toast committee, and most certainly this evening's chair and leader, Andrew Kaplan, and his wife, Tammy. Finally, we're honored to be joined by our supporters and our sponsors, those who believe in our work and give so generously to contribute the resources that we need to make it possible. We're grateful for tonight's sponsors, our presenting sponsors, Kirkland & Ellis and MFS, our contributing sponsors, Citizens Bank, KPMG, PwC, and Ropes & Gray, our supporting sponsors, Axiomata and WT Rich, our community sponsors, Arm & Building Services, Berkshire Bank, Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare, HR Knowledge, InSource Services, and McCarter and English. Among this tremendous group gathered here tonight are some people that have known us over the past 16 years we've been around, and some who are new to us this evening. So take a second and share in the chat box, what brought you here? How are you connected to Boston Prep? And while you do that, I hope you'll allow me a moment to introduce our community to those for whom Boston Prep is new. Boston Prep is an integrated middle school, high school, and graduate support program, serving students in 6th grade through their college graduation. Every single person in our community is fiercely committed to our dual mission to prepare students to succeed in four-year colleges and to engage in ethical thought and action. And with regards to this first half of the mission around college success, we have a great deal to celebrate. Nationally, only 62% of high school graduates matriculate to college. At Boston Prep, 99%. Nationally, only 1/3 of adults, young adults, earn a college degree in 4 years. That number drops to 13% for low-income students. Boston Prep students, by contrast, earning those degrees at 4 times this rate. And we're not satisfied with this number. We know that we can do better. This is why every day, every teacher works relentlessly to learn from what we've done to improve our program for the next day. For example, this is why we're currently thinking deeply with our partners about the skills and habits of mind our graduates need to succeed after they graduate college and while they're in high school, which is why our high school freshmen get a college counselor when they start high school, not when they hit 11th and 12th grade. This commitment to continuous improvement is part of the Boston Prep DNA. So tonight's theme is the Phoenix within us. And at Boston Prep, we have 5 virtues: courage, compassion, integrity, respect, and perseverance. And tonight's theme highlights the perseverance within our community. The fact that we will never give up and that we fight to achieve greatness in the face of any challenge. Never has the power and resilience of our community been more visible than it has been in this present moment. This week, our students took to remote learning with grace and with excitement. This year, for the 10th year in a row, 100% of our graduating seniors have been accepted to a 4-year college. And while this is not the spring semester that they had imagined, and we don't know what it has in store, we know that they will be ready to tackle whatever campus they choose in the fall. They've been accepted to Columbia University, to Wesleyan, Occidental, Bentley, Babson, UMass Amherst, UMass Lowell, UMass Boston, Denison, and Northeastern, and more. And whatever college they decide is the one for them and their family, watch out, the Phoenix are coming. Our families, they're reaching out to help one another, to lift one another up. And just today, one emailed asking if we could coordinate a virtual Spirit Day for our community. And our teachers, they are just incredible. With literally only 3 days to plan, they have shifted the whole school to a remote learning. They're collaborating and innovating in ways, shapes, and forms you can't even imagine, taking literally what they learned today to improve their next lesson. They are committed to every child's learning, regardless of where they are. And our alumni, they're remaining laser focused on their goal of college completion, and they've just gotten back to their online classes after spring break. As a school, Boston Prep is stepping into this moment to support our students, our families, our teachers, and our alumni's efforts. We're investing in our students with supports. Our health and counseling team is doing virtual therapy sessions and connecting students to resources. We sent every student home with a Chromebook and a charger. We've responded to 160 plus technological issues this week, and we're down to under 50. We've sent hotspots to families to support internet connection. We're reaching out and supporting our families. We know how important access to food is, and it's why we've committed to serving breakfast and lunch every day that we're closed. We're doing whatever we can to support our amazing teachers. We're purchasing document cameras, whiteboards, whiteboard markers, stylus pens, whatever they need to turn their dining rooms, their homes, into their classrooms. And we're reaching out to support our alumni. We know that the most critical lever in getting a college degree is maintaining momentum. And so it's for this reason that we've sought to support our alums with whatever they need, whether we've paid for travel to get them home unexpectedly, paid for storage, connected them with tutors to support their learning, covered their lost work-study wages, whatever it takes. We will not allow a public health crisis to become a college completion crisis for this community. Finally, our supporters. The Toast is Boston Prep's most significant fundraiser. The $400,000 we seek to raise through this event represents 1/3 of our annual fundraising. The funds raised tonight help support the small extras, the extended school day, the extended school year, the highly individualized college counseling. The need for the funds we raise through the Toast remains strong. And in fact, now, in the face of COVID-19, our needs are greater than ever before. Your resilience and commitment is more visible to us than ever. Since needing to pivot to this virtual Toast, you've shown your commitment and eagerness. In just the past 4 days, folks like yourself have contributed $20,000 towards our $400,000 goal. Your support is critical, and we know there are many needs and many ways that we're pulled. So whether it's $10,000 or $1,000 or $10,000, whatever amount you're able to offer, we are deeply grateful. Together, we will ensure that we will rise above any challenge because we all have the Phoenix within us. And there's no one better to tell you the story of a Phoenix than our students and our alumni. So with that, I hope you enjoy the debut of our new film, The Phoenix Within Us.
When I think of Phoenix, I think of strength. When phoenixes die, they rise above from the ashes. Just like us, when we face challenges, we rise above them.
No matter how many times I get knocked down in life, I can always get up better than I was before.
The pool toy project that we made, it wasn't working.
Tanya came up with the idea that we can do so much better.
It was
really hard.
We had to come in during lunch, after school, during advisory, recess,
and academic support.
The season was really hard. This last track season was definitely my most trying time as an athlete. Despite all of our challenges, we did make it to the championships. It came down to the last race and we had to win that race to win the championship.
My cousin Damian, he was one of the most important people in my life. We just had a very close relationship. And one day, out of nowhere, he was in a car crash and it led to him passing away. And it was really hard for me. I lost all motivation and that led to me not doing my work and not doing my best.
Mr. Zweig chose us and others to go to a statewide competition.
Yeah. But the morning of the competition,
it was not looking good.
Yeah.
We weren't done with the project. We weren't done at all.
And some of the parts were coming off and we were really worried and saying that we're probably not gonna win this. Come on, Hats, come on. Come on, Hats.
One person said, we need at least 3rd place in a 4x4. If we don't, then we will lose.
I started to wonder within myself, were we really gonna pull it off?
But then one day, my big brother pulled me aside. It really hit me because one of the things that I took out of the conversation was I'm really just kind of wasting my potential. One of the last things I told my cousin is he should reach his full potential. He shouldn't waste his time. And I started thinking to myself, how can I tell one of the most important people in my life to fulfill their potential? But I couldn't even do that myself.
This is my first year at Boston Prep, and I've noticed over the course of the first semester that students at Boston Prep persevere through every challenge that they're faced with. It struck me so strongly one day in class that I had to say it to the students, and I asked them, why is this?
And it was clear, it was the Phoenix within us.
I am a phoenix.
I rise up to any challenge.
Even when times are rough, I still strive to be my best self.
I am my ancestors' wildest dreams.
My failure is my motivation to be great.
I persevere through any challenge. We decided, you know what? let's do this. Even if we walk out of here with no trophy and no prize, at least we know that we finished our project and did what we could. One of the judges called our Poulter project a triple decker. And remember when we heard triple decker and I got mad excited. It was that big prize with all the categories. We were the topic of that whole competition.
Right before the 4x4, our captain reminded us, we are Phoenix Fierce. We will still get through this. Because it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish.
1, 2, 3. That was probably the best team huddle that we had that season. When this guy right here, when he took that baton, it was like something snapped and it was a whole different person. When he got it, he was in last place, and then all I saw was I started screaming, let's go, let's go, let's go.
I was literally struggling to keep running because literally my lungs felt like they were about to explode.
And then a minute later, he was in first.
And once I gave the baton to the other runner, I just collapsed. Knowing that, it's over. Now we got this. We won that championship meet. I was literally tearing up.
Everybody's energy came together. It was a long culmination of everything coming together. It just showed what heart and determination could bring you.
College became very important to me because as one of the first people to go to college in my family, I wanted to make my family proud. I wanted to make myself proud. I started getting straight A's and my GPA improved by a bunch. In senior year, I fell in love with the school and I decided to apply early decision to the college, and in December, I got accepted, and it was one of the happiest moments of my life. I know that any obstacle that comes in my way, I will break it down. I will never, ever give up.
Every person has a phoenix within them. Every student has the ability to persevere through challenges. I know because I've seen it, but it's about the place and the people around you that can nurture that inner phoenix.
Boston Prep is a place where everybody believes in you and they teach you your morals. And the main moral is perseverance. Have perseverance within Boston Prep and have perseverance outside of Boston Prep. That extension builds the phoenix within us every day.
I am a phoenix.
I'm a phoenix.
I am a phoenix.
I'm a phoenix.
Yo soy una phoenix.
People often say that the sky's the limit, but for us Phoenix, the sky's just the beginning.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Whew, okay. Let me just get my life together. Hi, everyone. My name is Oluwaseun Adebagbel. I am a 2014 Boston Prep alum, and I graduated from Stanford University in 2018 with a BS in Human Biology. I'm so excited to be here with you all, and just because I'm in my room doesn't make me any less nervous right now. So silent snaps, words of encouragement in the chat would be very, very helpful. Whew. I grew up believing that excellence is not an option, but rather an obligation. In elementary and middle school, my dad would promise to buy me something or treat me to my favorite Chinese restaurant if I brought home all A's. So yes, I was that student who was upset with a grade lower than a 95 because there was an iPod Touch calling my name and I wasn't going to let a B block my blessing. In high school, I had the same desire for excellence, but a new reward: getting into college. I've always wanted to be a doctor, but of course the main goal was college and the rest would figure itself out. I breezed through high school. I was just one of those students who got it. I didn't have to study hard to do well on a test. I just got it. School came easy to me. Senior year, college decisions began rolling in. While I had a few acceptances, rejections from Williams College and Harvard didn't leave much hope for my decision from Stanford University. As I paced the living room waiting for the Stanford decision to come out at 6 p.m., I prepared for the worst. Dear Oluwaseun, we regret to inform you, Finally, my phone had buzzed with an email from Stanford admission office. I opened the email with one eye, and all I saw was congratulations. I did it. I had gotten into the most selective school in the US. A few months later, I packed my bags, bought a one-way ticket to California, and said, bye-bye, Boston Prep. I started my first quarter at Stanford with the notorious Chem 31A, because that's what all the other pre-meds were doing. Chemical Principles 1. How bad can this be? It couldn't be much harder than my high school chemistry class, right? Little did I know that this was the class that made or broke pre-meds. The class that, according to research, determined if a pre-med of color was going to be another statistic that gave up on the journey to medicine. I approached Chem 31A the same way I approached high school, by showing up for class and doing the problem set. That had gotten me through 4 years of high school, so naturally, I believed it would do the same in college. I barely made it through Chem 31A and B. I seemed to be the only one who never understood what was happening in class. I knew just enough to pass with C's, and this was with the help of a grading curve. I had never seen C's in my life before, and suddenly, they just kept coming. Worst of all, at the time, it seemed like everyone around me had figured it out. Everyone but me seemed to have gotten the pre-med playbook. As my spring quarter of freshman year began, I sat in the organic chemistry lecture hall contemplating my entire existence. And if the molecule is flipped this way, we have Gauss interaction. I couldn't for the life of me understand what the professor was talking about, and I just couldn't afford another C in a pre-med class. So I opened up my laptop, withdrew from the class, and walked out of the lecture hall. As junior year approached, I knew I needed to reevaluate my path to medicine. If I wanted to be a doctor, I needed to get back into pre-med classes and start building my resume. So, with 2 years left at Stanford, I took a leap of faith. I switched my major from psychology to human biology. Not only did I need to complete a whole major in 2 years, but I also had to squeeze in pre-med classes that would not count towards my major. I knew this would be a challenge, but it was a challenge I welcomed. I walked into junior year re-energized, recommitted, believing that if I wanted it badly enough, I could turn things around. You couldn't tell me anything. Your girl was going to slay this pre-med thing. After fall quarter, I returned to an empty home for winter break. I anxiously awaited my grades. The professor seemed to take forever to post the grades. Slowly but surely, the grades came in. By the time the last grade came in, I was looking at a 2.4 for that quarter. I couldn't pull myself away from my glowing screen. I was staring at my grades were staring at me. How was I going to get into medical school with a science GPA below a 3.0? I opened up another tab on Google Chrome and typed, "Can you get into medical school with a low GPA?" Every video I watched, every article, and every blog post I read said medical schools wanted to see good grades. And I mean all A's. Based on what I saw in my transcript, it was evident. I could never get into medical school. My grades told me I wasn't going to be a doctor, and that was a painful pill to swallow. I cried and cried and cried. I had less than 2 years left at Stanford, and there was no way my GPA would get to where it needed to be. After burying myself in my bed for days, I realized crying wasn't going to raise my GPA. I finally accepted the fact that the way I learned in high school did not work in college. I needed to do something different. I needed help. I accepted the fact that seeking help is not a weakness, but rather a tool for achieving success. I set an appointment with the academic skill coach to reevaluate and modify my study habits. Alana, my skill coach, gave me something I needed: confidence. With every check-in, she reminded me that I could do it. But I learned that hard work doesn't necessarily yield immediate results. It was frustrating not seeing immediate changes in my academic performance. At this point, doing well wasn't an option. It was, as my parents had taught me from a young age, an obligation. I learned that my GPA is not a measure of my intelligence, but a test of my resilience. If I gave up now, how would I ever get the grades I wanted? So I kept going. I kept going to office hours. I kept working with my study group. I kept doing practice problems, but most importantly, I kept a positive attitude. There were times I would get knocked down, but I got right back up and kept going. Soon, my C's turned into B's, and those B's turned into A's. Senior year was my greatest achievement, not only in terms of grades, but in terms of my personal growth as well. In 2018, I graduated from Stanford feeling on top of the world. I accomplished what once seemed impossible to me. Now, in order to apply to medical school, I still had to take a year-long physics course and the dreaded medical college admission test, the MCAT. Here I was in Silicon Valley, barely making enough to survive, and I owed $1,000 in tuition for my first quarter of my evening physics class. I had no idea how I was going to pay. As the deadline to make payment approached, I texted Mrs. Wright, my alumni counselor from Boston Prep. I knew Boston Prep offered microgrants to help alumni currently in college, but I asked her if Boston Prep had ever offered this type of support for college graduates. She got back in touch with me a few days later to share that she and the board were willing to experiment. I was invited to submit a persistence fund application. I applied immediately and was incredibly grateful to receive the funding needed to complete my last required course. I applied to medical school the following summer full of anxiety and fear. What if my grades were not good enough? What if my story was not good enough? What if I made the wrong choice by applying this cycle? Self-doubt was not a new emotion to me, but the stakes were higher. If I didn't get in this cycle, not only would I be devastated, but I'd need to figure out how I would strengthen my application to apply again. Those thoughts of self-doubt came to ease as God showed me what it means to be blessed and highly favored. Before I knew it, I started getting interviews for schools I never thought would even look at me twice. Decisions were due to begin arriving October 15th. As I got into my car to head to work that morning, I was full of nerves and my mind was racing. I was so anxious that I didn't realize what I was doing until I reversed into my housemate's car. I looked at our damaged cars in disbelief and in tears. This was literally the worst way to start my day. As I sat in my car crying, wondering how I would cover the cost of the damage, my phone vibrating, alerting me to my first acceptance into medical school. Later that day, 2 more acceptances arrived, including one from my top choice university. By the end of October, I had received 6 acceptances into MD granting medical schools. And while I'm still deciding what school is the right fit for me, I'll begin medical school this summer. As a student in high school, I did not appreciate the meaning or the power of Boston Prep's mascot, the Phoenix. After all the obstacles in my journey, I have a better understanding of what it means to be a Phoenix. It means being willing to ask for help. It means leaving work early to attend office hours with my physics professor. It means late nights studying for the MCAT with tired eyes but a committed heart. It means believing that the impossible is possible. It means that though your inner fire may at times dim, you will never, ever allow it to burn out. As I continue through this journey in medicine as a Black woman, I know I will encounter obstacles greater than grades. Obstacles that may shake my confidence or even challenge my commitment to medicine. There will be more tears and moments of defeat to come, but I'll keep going. I'll keep going for that Black girl who wants to be a doctor, so that she knows it has been done and can be done. I'll keep going for my sister, so that she knows if they don't give you a seat at their table, you make your own table and invite others to sit. I'll keep going for my future patients, so that they not only have an excellent clinician, but also an advocate who feels and understands them. I'll keep going because the Lord is my strength. Thank you all for listening to my story. I hope my story inspires you, but also reminds everyone of the important work Boston Prep does for its students and alum. Thank you.
I want to take a moment and thank you, Oluwaseun, for your courage to share your story. And on behalf of everybody here tonight, I hope you're watching the chat box. Congratulations. And we look forward to hearing your medical school journey and what's to come. As you heard in the film tonight, Ms. Grimaldi said that everybody has a phoenix within us. Everybody has the power to persevere, but that it is often the people, the place, the community that comes together, that nurtures that lets that phoenix shine. And so tonight, I hope you will join me in raising a glass to this amazing community that creates the phoenix within us, and cheers to better days. As we prepare to end our time together tonight, I want to thank you for joining us, for coming together for this moment of needed community and connection. In the days and the weeks to come, we hope that you continue to find ways to connect with your friends, with your family, your local community, and with us here at Boston Prep. There are so very many needs around us right now, but there are also so many people ready and willing and excited to help. Just over the course of the past 30 minutes, we've raised an additional $6,000 this evening. We're so incredibly grateful for this tremendous show of support. And so tonight, if you are able to make another gift, we'd so appreciate it. $57 buys one of those hotspots to provide a student or an alum the internet connection they need for remote learning. $600 covers a month of work study financial aid that our alums can no longer contribute to the cost of their education. $15,000 covers the cost of the Zoom membership that's making this evening possible and all the remote learning opportunities for our students and teachers. As you can see, gifts of all sizes make a difference. Whether it's in the tens, hundreds, or thousands of dollars, every gift makes the difference. You, right now, being here with us, are making a difference. So thank you for joining us tonight. We hope that you stay safe, that you are well, and that we get to see each other together in community over the many months ahead. Good night.